Do you believe that Michael Thomas deserves a 99 overall rating on Madden?
Yes, Michael Thomas deserves a 99 overall rating on Madden. Let me tell you why. Because he was the best receiver last season. He was a big threat for the Saints. He broke Marvin Harrison reception record. He could have broke Calvin Johnson most receiving yards in a season. Michael Thomas was on pace, man, to break a lot of good records that nobody don't ever wants to mention because it's still the respect for Julio, DeAndre Hopkins. You can even throw in Odell Beckham and AJ when he's healthy, but you gotta give him his props. Because for him, he was the only legitimate threat on that Saints offense, regardless of Alvin Kamara catching out the backfield. He wasn't more reliable than Michael Thomas. And everybody always mentioned, like, oh, he does a lot of short routes. He catch all the balls in short routes. But at the same time, this guy, you can line him up anywhere, and he can do any route that you give him, man. And he's definitely should be well-deserved to be one of the best receivers in the NFL. I give you this, though. I'm not saying he's gonna like repeat the last type of statistics as he did last year, but it's gonna be something similar to them numbers, around similar to them numbers. Like I can dig 110 catches, over 1,400 yards, at least 10 touchdowns. That's his mark right there. He's the third highest paid receiver in the NFL at currently right now, and if he being paid as the highest paid, he has to put up these monster numbers. And I honestly believe he still can. He already had 473 yards in the first 4 years of his NFL. That broke the record that led with Christian McCaffrey, Odell Beckham, and one of the only, AJ Green. That's just something brilliant right there. 4,000 receiving yards in the next 4 years. That's remarkable. That's remarkable. That's the fastest for any receiver, man. He's well known as the best receiver in the league, Trey.
He's not the best receiver in the league.
He definitely deserves a 99 overall rating.
He does not deserve a 99 overall rating. He's not the best receiver in the NFL. So you're wrong on both ends on that accord. But when I look at Michael Thomas, I will give him credit because he had a good season last year. Had 149 receptions, which was a record-breaking season for him. 9 touchdowns, over 1,700 receiving yards on the season. Listed at 6'3", 212 pounds. Receiver out of Ohio State. He's been a reliable target for Drew Brees, and he's a big time target as well. He has a huge catch radius, and he can really position himself to get the football at his highest points. That's why I believe Drew Brees trusts him, throwing him the ball and expecting Michael Thomas to come down with the football for the most part. And again, he's a 3-time Pro Bowl receiver so far in his career, so he's accomplished some nice milestones in the short time he's been in the NFL. But do I believe he deserves a 99 overall rating on Madden? Absolutely not, because I don't even believe he's the best receiver in the NFL. He doesn't have that breakaway speed that Odell Beckham has. He doesn't have that ability also to make plays in the big time moments, especially in the playoffs. Last year in the playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings, let me give you these statistical numbers for Michael Thomas. He had 7 receptions for 70 receiving yards, no touchdowns. He was completely shut down last year by the Minnesota Vikings. And then the year previously, he had some nice numbers against the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card matchup, 12 receptions, 171 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. That was a good game. But the next exact week, going up against the Rams in the NFC Championship game, he had 4 receptions for just 36 receiving yards. He got shut down in the NFC Championship game in the 2018 season. Listen, do I think Michael Thomas is an elite receiver? I do believe he's an elite receiver. But do I believe he's better than Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, or Odell Beckham? I do not. I think he's more in that Devontae Adams, Michael, and that Evans, Amari Cooper. That's the players that I think he belongs on the most. Like I think he belongs with those players more so than Julio, DeAndre, and Odell. I think they're on another level. And I know everybody want to discredit Odell Beckham for the last few years because statistically he hasn't performed like we've seen in previous years. But we got to remember, situation matters. And let's not pretend like if Odell was in that system with Drew Brees and Sean Payton, that he wouldn't put up equivalent or even better numbers than Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas deserves to be in that Amari Cooper and that Mike Evans and that Devontae Adams conversation, but not with Odell, Julio, and DeAndre Hopkins.
So you telling me Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, and your favorite receiver, Devontae Adams, will put up the numbers that Michael Thomas did in New Orleans?
Yes. If Devontae Adams was in that system with Drew Brees and Sean Payton playing in that dome, it's going to increase your stats. You playing in a nice climate. You're going to throw the ball all over the field. You're not dealing with the conditions that Devontae is dealing with in Green Bay, where it's cold out. And guess what? Last year in the playoffs, Devontae balled out in the playoff game against the Seattle Seahawks. Do you remember? He balled out against their secondary, even though Seattle's secondary isn't that good. But I'm saying I believe Michael Thomas, he hasn't played well in the playoffs so far in his young career.
Ridiculous, man. Did you even forget about the NFC Championship when Diggs caught the touchdown pass? He had over 100 yards. He actually gave him the go-ahead touchdown. See, I think you're pulling out the bag, trying to pull out some of the bad games that he had. But to be honest, the only bad game he had was against that Rams game in the NFC Championship game, which when they shut him all out, they threw double team him. Everywhere where he went, they had a safety on top of him. A linebacker was in the middle of him. So everywhere he did, like someone was extra there. But listen, here's the thing. For what Michael Thomas, what he brings to that same offense is a workhorse mentality. He's reliable. He's durable. He's a freak of beast, man. He's a freak. Honestly, man. He's a freak, like a freak animal, man. He's that type of receiver that he's built like a muscle man, but he can move, man. I just feel like for Michael Thomas, though, for what he did in these 4-year spans was something that was never done. Like almost 500 catches in 4 years. Like that's very impressive, Trey. That's very impressive. He passed your guy Odell Beckham, what, like 100 more catches over them, but like the things he does on the field, man, that's reliable. He's reliable. And for Devontae Adams being in New Orleans, he wouldn't be that reliable because he has too many injuries, toe injuries, foot injury, whatever injuries that he always have, Trey. I just don't understand how you trying to say these receivers can do the same thing as Michael Thomas, but some of these receivers don't bring the same skill set or trait as Michael Thomas brings.
But I believe Devontae Adams is a better route runner than Michael Thomas. Devontae Adams is the best route runner in the NFL. Go look it up.
Run after catch.
So even if we doing run after catch, Odell is better with yak, which is yards after catch, than Michael Thomas is. Like Odell is a home run hitter. Odell is significantly better than Michael Thomas. I hate when people try to act like Odell isn't very good anymore. Like y'all act like y'all disrespect Odell Beckham. Like Odell is not a top 5 receiver.
You can't. Nobody's not disrespecting Odell at the same time. You can't. Okay, Michael Thomas is a good route runner. He got great hands, and he take a lot of hits, and he can do almost any route that you tell him to do. There are certain receivers that can't do every route. Like Devontae Adams, he is like you said, yards after the catch. So more likely he's basically taking a deep shot or a deep post, man. For Odell, I give you that. Odell is a talented receiver. He honestly, if he would have had an okay season in Cleveland, I still would have considered him that. But at the same time, that derailed his reputation though. Like, because he got a big ego and he didn't produce well with Cleveland, even though they was favored to go to the Super Bowl or at least make the playoffs.
But you don't get to do that, Clarence. Don't do that. You don't get to do that. But that's not right, because we know football, right. Because we know receiver is a dependent position. You have to have other things that go right for you to get the football. And last year, there was numerous other things that we talked about with the Browns that they had issues with before we even got to Odell. They had issues with coaching with Freddie Kitchens. They had issues at quarterback with Baker Mayfield.
Before the season? Did they have all them problems before the season? Before the season.
I'm talking the pressure. What do you mean before the season? What are you talking about?
I'm saying this. Did Freddie Kitchens, Odell face all these problems that they had in the season before?
I'm talking about during the season production. Last year, Odell Beckham had 74 receptions, over 1,000 receiving yards, just 4 touchdowns. He still had over 1,000 yards receiving, and that was a down year for Odell. And that was with all the chaos that was going on in the Cleveland Browns organization. What I'm saying is, We can't sit up here and act like the situation don't matter. And you are, I don't know what you watching, and you delusional if you believe Michael Thomas is an overall better talent than Odell Beckham.
I'm going to say this. AJ Green. Okay. The Bengals is 5-27-1 without AJ Green. They are 5-21. No, 5-27-1 without AJ Green, man. He makes that team better because what he brings to the table and what he can do. For Michael Thomas, he helped turn that Saints offense all the way up because they didn't in the years before he was drafted, they didn't have a reliable receiver. Marcus Colston was coming to his age years. He retired early. They didn't have no reliable receiver. They didn't have no other receiver but him. Now they got Emmanuel Sanders will make it even more better because he could be a decoy and Michael Thomas will still get hits. Oh, so it's gonna be very interesting. For Odell, Jarvis Landry was the best receiver on that team. And everybody know that Odell is better than Jarvis, but Jarvis is still good. He's a top number 2 receiver in the NFL. I'm gonna just give you that. But Michael Thomas is legit, bro.
I'm not saying he's not legit. I'm just saying there's levels to this. And I don't think he is on Julio, Odell, or DeAndre Hopkins level. I think he's more so closer to Amari Cooper, to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I think he's on that level more so than DeAndre, Odell, and Julio.
4 straight seasons with at least 90 catches and at least 1,000 yards and over 5 touchdowns. You telling me that's not good enough for him to be on the level as Julio?
But let me say something. Let me give you some pushback on that because we like basketball too. We love our NBA. If it's a player that is a high volume player and his shot attempts is high, he's going to average at least 20 to 25 points per game. If a player is shooting majority of the shots and he's getting all of the touches and he's a number 1 option on a basketball team, guess what? More than likely his points per game average will go up. What I'm saying is Michael Thomas is in a situation where Drew Brees and Sean Payton, they force feed him the football because he is the best receiver on that team and he's reliable. I'm not saying he's not elite. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be in the conversations as being one of the elite receivers that we have in the NFL. But I think it's levels to this. I think Odell, Julio, and DeAndre Hopkins are more proven than Michael Thomas. I got to see more from Michael Thomas in the playoffs and the biggest moments.
How is DeAndre Hopkins and Julio is proven? Well, DeAndre Hopkins, he's never made the AFC Conference Championship ever in his career. So
that's
he never
not his fault.
No. I'm just saying. Hold on.
So situation don't matter. Situation don't matter.
Okay,
huh?
Okay. Here's this. Michael Thomas is on a streak. 4 straight years with at least 1,000 yards. He ain't had nothing 1,000 yards under. Not even once. So he's definitely top 3 receiver in the league. Top 5. Odell's a top 5 receiver too, but Odell's not better than Michael Thomas.
Okay, let's go to the next question. So I'm assuming that you believe Michael Thomas is the best receiver in the NFL. Is that true? That was the next question. Is Michael Thomas currently the best receiver in the NFL?
Yeah, I believe it. I think he's currently the best receiver in the NFL, man. I truly believe it. But don't get me wrong. Julio is a monster. He had 99 catches, 1,300 receiving yards, only 4 touchdowns. D. Hopkins had almost 100 catches and on 1,400 receiving yards. D. Hopkins proven. But for Michael Thomas, he's right there with those guys. Right there with those guys. The production he's never giving you low production. He's always giving you the productive that they want from him. So I just consider it.
So when we talk about playoff performances, right?
Yeah.
I told you I think Devontae Adams has played better in the playoffs than Michael Thomas. So let me give you some of these numbers. Last year, hold on. How do you disagree? The statistics speak for itself. Last year in the playoffs, in the wild card game at Lambeau, Devontae Adams had 8 receptions for 160 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. And in the game where we got beat down in the Bay, Devontae Adams had 9 receptions, 138 receiving yards against
garbage.
What do you mean? He still produced, and that's going up against the best defense in the NFL and the 49ers.
Look, he did all that in garbage time. The game was already already gone, man. He did all that in garbage time, man.